with their dad, so they can come and go.
Okay. Okay. It also will be very interesting for them today.
Oh, is it? Ah, how interesting. Wow.
I think so.
Wow, how intriguing.
Dasha, how old are they?
So Alex is 3.5 and Mila just turned 1 year. So they're all, yeah, lots of things to do. Can't leave them alone or something like this.
All right. So I think I will start slowly and some students will join, I hope, in a few seconds. But not to waste time, today we have a lot of interesting information and activities. So just a reminder that today is the final class of this Sustainable Business Strategy School. It's unbelievable how fast time went through these 2 weeks. And today is also not a very ordinary day, I would say, especially for Russia, because today there is people going out to the streets to show that they are against of the corruption or fake justice. So it's actually happening right now in this minute. And that's why maybe some of the students who are in Russia, they would not be able to connect to today's class, because it's really a massive movement through entire Russia. And today's class is actually very well connected to all this reality that we are living every day, and especially today. But before coming to the lecture, I just want to mention that some administrative information about this school, that by Monday you need to fill all the tests, and I hope that you have this document with the web links for the tests. We have about 6 or 7 tests. And also we kindly ask you to fill all the feedback forms after each class. And on Monday, you will get the final feedback form for the entire school, where you could take some step back, remember all the classes, and give your honest impression, what you liked, what you didn't like, or what can be improved. Every comment is really important for us. So on Monday, there won't be official class, and it will be only closing ceremony. And if you have any comments to share or any concerns, you will have the opportunity to do that. So for today, I'm very excited to have within the school Daria Gerasimenko, who is our speaker today, and she will be speaking about stewardship of innovation ecosystems. And actually, the topic is so deep that I even won't be brave enough to describe it. So from the very beginning, I give the floor to Daria so she can explain it, and just enjoy this class. I'm pretty sure it will change your life.
Oh, thank you. So, hi everyone. I know that it's a very special day today, not only because it's a weekend, but in many ways, because especially for Russia, as Katerina already mentioned. Still, we will see how it goes. I have prepared something, and you know, it's always challenging in the times of impossibility to predict whatsoever, right? It's very difficult to plan. So I have prepared something, and then we will see how we go with this in terms of time, in terms of pace, in terms of the depth of this. Thank you for the invitation. I would like to also express my gratitude to Katya, Katerina, and to Roman for organization, and our beautiful team in the Точка Кипения of Samara University, where our hub of innovation, and the organizers of the schools like Olga Yesipova. So there's a beautiful, amazing team behind this new journey for us. This is the first school, what we are doing here at Samara University. So let me then with this, we'll see, I see maybe some people are more joining, but I would like to tell you a little bit more about how we go and what we are doing today. So how I teach usually is Well, it's not as much about slides and about lectures. It's more about our reflections, our ability to sense, our ability to co-sense together. Because you see from the slides that it's called the ecosystems, right? And it's also called stewardship, which means that with the times of changes which we are currently having, we are exploring new ways of leadership. We're exploring new abilities to be leaders in such a complex challenges which we are facing now. So this is a lot about our co-creation of this learning space right now together, rather than me talking about some theoretical stuff, right? So the world is changing, and what I'm going to share with you here is my personal experience with some innovative ways of dealing with complex ecosystems, with changes in the ecosystems, as well as I am inviting you in all the rounds where we are going to share that learning experience, that you are contributing as well with your experience. And there is no right and wrong here. There is always a co-creating, co-weaving of this amazing network of the learning and learning from each other, first of all. This is the most important. I'm not here like kind of the guru. I am offering here my experience, and I'm happy to hear your experience, and whatever you have to share, to add. There is no right and wrong. There is no judgment in this space. So everything what you are saying is right per definition, because it is you. This is how you are, and that's what you want to say, and that's okay how it is. So I am a little bit of about myself. So since I was supposed to writing a little bit about who I am, and we will be also coming to introduce ourselves here as well, a little bit of co-creating this and co-weaving at the beginning this space into certain frequency of let's say enhanced co-creation and co-learning space. I am, as you can see here, a professor of sustainable development at Samara Aerospace University. We will be a little bit mentioning about this. It's called Samara National Research University, but its main background and what it is about, it's mainly at our aerospace university, and former aerospace university at the Soviet times. I'm also advisor director on the issues of sustainability, transition, and change. So I took this position officially in December, although I have been helping rector with management and collaboration and changes in the university already from around September time. I am also lecturer in economics at St. Gallen University. I am currently speaking with you from Switzerland, by the way. I'm working in 2 countries. I'm a citizen of 2 countries, and I am weaving these experiences from both countries and kind of letting them learn from each other the best they have about each other, because we know that it is both Switzerland and Russia, they are quite different countries in many ways, and they both have their weaknesses as well as they both have their great and best practices, and that's what I'm trying to build, to bridge this best practices that they can learn from each other. And here I'll also be sharing with you example of how I'm doing this on my everyday life. Giving you basically today's slides, they're all about experience, and experience, about new skills, about new ways of thinking, etc., etc. So then I got my PhD. So the basis, my academic basis is, you can see, it's a political economy in Switzerland, and the basis is the international trade and investment. So global politics, global economics, that's where I am coming from. In Switzerland, you know, this is pretty much the headquarters of a lot of stuff what's happening around the world. So that's probably the right place to be when you are talking about the global politics and economics. Although, you know, this country is neutral, but we know what its neutrality is. It has a very interesting, let's say, meaning, that neutrality. But a lot of stuff is happening here. I am a former research scientist in circular economy at Swiss Federal Institute of Technology, the one which is in French-speaking part. So I will be sharing with you my experience on how to co-create spaces based on my work at ETH Lausanne, so Swiss Federal Institute of Technology, and my work in a group of the former environmental minister of Switzerland, who was building the green economy in Switzerland. He has extensive experience. Now he's one of the heads of one of the international organizations in Switzerland, which are located in Switzerland. which is dealing with the protection of nature. I am also certified a certified Qigong and meditation trainer. Not only that, I'm integrating that very much into my work, which means my teaching, my research, my ecosystem work within innovation ecosystems in different countries with different actors. I used to teach Qigong and meditation at St. Gallen University at Unisport, where, you know, St. Gallen University is, I forgot to mention, if you don't know this, this is the headquarters of financial politics, etc., etc. Big Players Game, which is the main university in Switzerland, which is dealing with this. It's a very important player in many, let's say, games which have been played in Switzerland and around the world. So that's an interesting place to be. I'm still working in there. I started my PhD in 2007 and still working within this institution. So I am an education and research innovator, designer, and catalyst of practical social spaces. And here we're going to talk a little bit about how we look at sustainability, or can look at sustainability, and kind of how can we integrate sustainability, utilizing soft ways like a water, where you kind of do things and they just happen without any resistance, without any fights. It just flows. And that is one of the new ways how we deal with implementation of sustainability in this wise, water-like way. Because, you know, we have entered recently the Aquarius age, right? It means something for us. So what are the new tools and how we can deal with sustainability? So will be a lot of reflections from my side, from my experience, which is a very long experience, but I'm more than sure that you have also a lot to contribute and to share about that. So research interests are societal innovation, awareness-led social labs, which we are going to talk today about, those new forms of how we can co-create our future, how we can co-create and change, make change happen in a society in a water-like way. Not a fire like, but a water like way. So which is, let's see what is the power of water is. You know, it's very soft, but yeah, nothing can, yeah, it just flows through everything. So, you know, what the power of water is. Partnerships in ecosystems, awareness-led innovation, unity consciousness for innovation. So these are the areas I'm also working with big players internationally, as well as in Russia, as well as in Switzerland, where I'm facilitating the change for the leaders in various areas and various sectors, where we utilizing those new approaches of how we steward the innovation ecosystems and how we steward the change. So not fight, but to steward this. This is a new way of how humans can deal with the challenges and complexities. So here, I would like to start introducing you, so we start learning that in practice, okay? So rather than talking about this. So we usually have a talking piece, we usually have a space where we all sit together and all the voices are present in the room, those who are supposed to be there or who came there for whatever reason, right? So, and then I'm having this ball and as a facilitator of the space or co-facilitator, depending on how many co-facilitators are present. So I would be taking this ball and I would be giving that ball to someone. There are different ways how we check into the space. I will be showing to you how we do things, as well as I will be talking about that, so that you also take part in that, you start experiencing this, you start learning what that is about. So, and here is for a check-in into the space. I would like to you to answer those 3 questions. This is very simple. Your name, your country you are currently in, and what is your main takeaway or your aha moment during this winter school so far? It does not have to be just content. It can be anything, can be new relationship, can be new thought, new connection to something else, you found out something else, or whatever, so that we are landing into this co-creation, common learning space today. And I will do it this way. I would like to pass this ball to someone. So when one of you finishes this, then you nominate the next person. So we will do it in this new online kind of format. So now I would like to start, let's say, I would like to start with Anastasia. So I'll give you this talk in peace so that you share with us those 3 points.
Hello. Yeah, my name is Anastasia. I'm from Russia, St. Petersburg. And the main idea I got from this winter school is that I want to get the master degree from the, I don't know, any foreign university. So I need these skills, I need this knowledge, not just like, I don't know, I mean, something really strong, really fundamental. So the next one is, who's today in our chat? Let it will be Dasha. Dasha.
Hello. Yes, my name is Dasha. I'm currently live in London in the United Kingdom. And my aha moment was that before I was thinking about actually going to this school, I wanted to create something very meaningful for kids and for parents to connect them together. And before this school, I was thinking it can be produced in China. I wasn't thinking about sustainable. I was just thinking about the idea how to actually can it work or not, because of course we have all budget. But now when I attend this school and after hearing all of this amazing information, I came up to the idea that it should be sustainable business or not business at all. It should be only this way and not another, because not because of even it's not because of the climate changing, it's because it's ethical, it's moral, it's how it should be, it's how everyone should create something. And for me, that's what I'm taking from this course, from all of these lectures. Thank you very much. And I will pass it past this imaginary ball to Dimas.
Okay, hello everyone. So my name is Dimas and I'm from Indonesia. As you know that I live in Jakarta. So my aha moment from this school, I suggest, I think uh, I'm currently I'm learning master degree on management and business. So literally today I just finished my thesis. And why I choose this class, why I choose this winter school is that I want to learn more the bigger picture of business. That's why I choose a sustainable business. I want to see what is business in general in the eyes of nature, in the eyes of preserving nature itself. So yeah, I think that is the point that I want to make. So yeah, so for the next guy, I think I choose Timo.
Hi, I'm Timo. I'm currently living in the Netherlands, though I will potentially move to Brussels next week. And my main takeaway or aha moment from this winter school so far was that I only realized in this winter school how big the discrepancy between science and policy implementations is. So this is also something I figured I'd like to work on a bit more in the future, that the science output policy implementation relation is better. And who didn't say anything? I'm gonna pass the ball to Roman.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, my name is Roman. I am based in Russia, and my key takeaway from the school, I think the biggest one is the understanding and to reflection on the steps that we can do in order to to make business more sustainable. So as for me now is the big question, how can we do it? do this? How can we engage both businesses, policymakers, and society to do this next step? So what are the instruments to do this step? And the second big question is, who will pay for this transition? Because it's very interesting moment, and we have to allocate the responsibility for those changes somehow. I think it's very complex task that we need to do as a future business leaders and activists. Yeah, and I think I will pass
Katja?
to Katja. Yes.
Well, yes, it's a very nice moment to share the insights. And right now I'm based in Spain, Barcelona. It's also nice to know the geography, how far we are from each other. And my aha moment from this school is that we are so different. And actually, within the school, we have different students with completely different backgrounds and way of thinking. Someone is more practical or technical, one is more soft skills experienced, and someone is engineer, someone is a designer. And it's been a challenging time when we have been working in groups to find the dialogue or to communicate our ideas to each other. And I think that our school, even though it is so small, it represents the real situation in the world. Everyone has different mindset, different background, and everyone want to achieve the same goal of sustainability. And even though the goal is the same, it's sometimes just difficult to communicate our values, our messages, to apply our skills. So for me, the aha moment that actually we are playing the real world within these 2 weeks school. And for me, it's a lot of to digest and to comprehend after the school.
Thank you.
Yes.
I don't know if Точка Кипения someone is there as a human being, or it's you would like to join us. Okay, so then I will say also, so my name is Daria. I'm originally born in Russia. I've been living in Switzerland already very many years. I did my master here, so etc. as PhD as well. So I'm located now in Lausanne, or near Lausanne. And my aha moment during the school, I also can say already, is that it's happening. So this is the first prototype within Samara University, and one of the first in Russia, if not the first at all. We'll still need to figure it out. So this is already our moment that it is a part of the Russian, let's say, field, right? So this is, I'm very grateful to the organizers for being brave and yeah, and smart and beautiful how they are. So just do it, you know, with despite anything, whatever. So for that, this is my aha moment about how beautiful the humans are. Oh, yeah. So this is the next slide, which I would like to introduce you. And this is a very important slide. This is a background for all what I'm going to talk about today or share the experience. Kat already mentioned importance of complexity. And this is the complexity we're entering. What is Aquarius age? It's the age of incredible complexity unfolding in front of us. And you see here on the right, because we are at the aerospace university, and by the way, Samara University has the largest spectrum of the aerospace technology and all which has to do with aerospace traditionally, right? So I have to put something about the space in here. And that is this picture from NASA. This is a picture which is a collection of 10 years of pictures. On this little piece, you can see 5,500 galaxies on one picture. And that represents the complexity of the universe we're living in. And you can see in one of those dots, maybe, so these are galaxies. Milky Way is one of the galaxies. And our planet is circulating around one of the stars. So this is about the rising human knowledge about who we are actually as humanity, right? So this is the complexity to add to all what is happening around the world. So that is about change. There is a speed of change, there is a depth of change, and there is an uncertainty because it's very difficult now to know or to predict whatsoever. So my question to you is, and then I'll pass the ball the second time before I start entering deeper into the experiences that I have had with the complexities. So the question is, what are the complexities or new trends that you see have been unfolding since COVID measures are in place or have been in place? And here I'm talking about the COVID measures, right? Because we can think about COVID and we know that we have a variety of opinions about what COVID is or is not, etc., etc. But COVID measures have changed this planet for forever. So this is a big story which is unfolding. So I would like to invite us to collect different pieces of information from each of us and our perspective from our visions, which Kaiser just mentioned. We all have different backgrounds, different countries. How do we see this change? Where do we see this change? Why I'm asking this question is because you can understand that doing business and sustainability transformation within such complexities is very different from how we thought about sustainability even 3 years ago, even 2 years ago, even 10 years ago. That's very different how we build sustainability in this type of complexity. So that's why I'm inviting you, I'm giving you the ball. And here I'm not going to nominate, so whoever is ready, and we might keep some silence for a while. So whoever is ready is just, starts saying something. And here I also would like you to be very brief. So you just your observation so that we can pass to the next one, so that we collect the different puzzles of this big picture, which we are all observing collectively happening on the planet. So, and then at the end, I will add 3 my observations, which I would like to add as a contribution to this course. So the question is, what are the complexities, new trends that you have seen been unfolding since the beginning of COVID measures or COVID measures being in place? How different is our world now?
Actually, what I've seen is that people, they are like becoming crazy. So they start thinking about the ideas they didn't think before. So they are thinking about just their own, but not about the planet. They are thinking about to sit at home while the best for the health is to the fresh air and the sun, and the water. I don't know. So it was very strange for me, as I'm like the COVID dissident actually. I don't understand these measures at all, and for me it was the strange situation at all. That people they can't think silently, yes, that they got just the direction, the information from the media, and it's all, and they believe it, but they don't think by their own brain.
Thank you. Yeah, so people being crazy or getting crazy. Yeah. The next one is.
Can I follow? I will follow this direction because I totally agree with Anastasia that it's in London especially. I am like feeling like a prisoner here on this island, that we all are stuck at our homes, and it's quite shocking how it's scared many people, the whole situation. But actually I think many people forget about Brexit that we have, and lots of very bad things is happening now that my husband telling me from his work and his opinions. So what I noticed in this year, what was happening exactly as Anastasia said, some people, yes, was really worried and started a bit being more aggressive, but people who was accepting this change and were able to be flexible and to just try to find new way of thinking, they will find my world and how my friends they, like, we were, most of us were affected by the COVID in terms of we got through this. But my mentality, it's only get stronger and stronger. I just accepted what's happening, and I was still like trying to spread love and light and just believe in the future, in humanity. And I just saw that, yes, people who were scared, they're still in this position, like they're victims, and nothing good is happening, and lots of trash outside, lots of some freeze. Some people just started thinking what to do. Business is closed. I need to find another way to live. So it's chaos that we live in.
Okay.
But I found the peace in this, and I think for me it have different ways. For some people it maybe would be worse, and for some people who could adapt will go in the light future with new ideas, like this school. I think now I get new perspectives how to grow my business, for example. And I see that people can start supporting each other more than before, actually, more communications. And when I'm going outside, I can see how people starving to talk. I can't go outside alone, because even keeping distance, they like started talking to Australian people or to some Americans. They're like, how are you? I can see people talking on balconies. It's amazing. So actually I find very good communication stuff here.
Thank you. So what Dasha just said is about, on one side, frustration, but also about ability to find something new in that, right? Utilizing this as an opportunity for you to be born. Great. So next one, whoever to go next, ready to go next.
I would like to go
observation.
a bit of a different direction.
Yes.
So the complexity I've been seeing, or new trend rather, is that COVID has, on one hand, pushed states to handle problems nationally that are of international nature. So there's no national boundary, especially in Europe, where everything is super connected to COVID. Thus, but still, countries have been handling it nationally, and this is mainly because healthcare is organized nationally. And then a second trend that came about with the COVID situation is that also reasonably people have not been planning in the long term anymore, which is good for such high complexity, fast changing situations like COVID, but is totally devastating, for example, for planning climate change, or for planning climate change responses rather. So what I've been observing in the European media is that since COVID broke out, people took a step back from long-term plans, 10, 15 years of fighting climate change and pushing sustainability, but rather focused on what they can do today and tomorrow. But also in this winter school, we've talked about the exponential growth of problems in climate change. And I think everybody is very aware that tackling tomorrow, today is not enough. We have to look further into the future and act now.
Thank you. Who's ready to go next? That is very important that every voice is there. Whatever you're saying is, if you say you don't see any changes, that is also great. Because what we are learning right now is to sense how our mini ecosystem is. So we just mirror what is happening in the world. So whatever is coming out, even if it's bad words, this is great, because that's a part of where we live in. And we just deal with this, and we just be there without any judgment. So whatever you have is the right thing to say. Even to say nothing is the right thing.
I also mentioned that maybe the way of reactions, of doing reactions of some people is changed. Yes, I mean maybe during our ordinary life, yes, before COVID-19, we react such kind more emotionally yes, more emotionally, because we try to communicate to each other without any special media, yes, for example, gadgets, computer, telephone, etc. And nowadays we try to compensate these reactions and try to maybe think about what we are feeling right now, what we are doing, and our we use more words, yes, to express our feelings, and of course it's it involve it involves and it changes our understanding of interactions with other people. Yes, I mean, when we are doing business right now, we use, for example, such patterns I don't know, as the so-called virtual reactions. Yes, I mean reactions like in Zoom, and maybe during the online education also, yeah, we doing our homework alone, for example, and study in virtual media. It all we can call changes, yes, and I suppose these reactions also determine our way of creation business and business patterns. I mean, when we decided to make such kind of advertisement, for example, we create our aim and our key points in our advertisement should be the first and the most important, yes, distant, the online way, yes, of interaction, the first one. The second, the possibility to communicate, because the lack of communication is a point, yes, during COVID, etc. So we try to, and now the main idea of my speech, nowadays we try to react in these changes and to do our best to integrate our business system with the reality. Yes, we try we ought to we have to, I don't know, try to struggle with slow movement, yes, during our changes, because business system is very fast, I don't know, way to earn some money, yes, and it react it maybe it is to react, yes, to some changes very fast. So
thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Alona. So it's about the changes and how we react on changes, right? It's also blends with our new opportunities, but it's also challenges to actually adapt to that. So some of you haven't yet spoken. So if you try to be a little bit like shorter, so that because we have quite a program. So basically, we would like to share just main points. You don't need to explain much, just what you observe. You don't need to defend your position, because this position is taken as it is. So we don't need to explain why we think this or that way. Just sense whatever is there, and whatever the changes you observe, just say it to us, just briefly. So those who haven't yet spoken. I know that someone is Arfiana joined us. I know that Alona joined us also. Alona, what city are you from?
Nowadays, I'm in Ryazan region. I'm in Spassky-Ryazanski, but I'm studying in Moscow.
Okay, cool. So Russia, you're based like, yeah, okay. Yeah, so Diana haven't spoken, yeah. Dima, Arfiana.
I'm from Ijevsk, Russia.
Yeah. So what do you observe, Diana?
Can you give me maybe 2 minutes?
Okay, good. Dima, Arfiana, would you like to share with us your observations? Oh,
hi.
Hello. Hi.
I'm from Jakarta, Indonesia.
So you are right now in Indonesia. Great. So, Arfiana, what do you observe since the beginning of COVID measures in terms of what trends or what complexities do you observe unfolding? Just maybe a couple of them, just name, you don't need to kind of just say what feels right for you in the moment to say.
During this pandemic, I didn't see a lot of galaxies in our sky. So yeah, I can say right now, maybe I will see it from now. Like I will see our night sky every day. But the most interesting things is how we reduce carbon offset right now because we are at home, and that's amazing.
Okay, that's also a good point. You see how different puzzles are coming together because we have all different perspectives. That's the beauty of it, where every one of us is giving our vision of the world. So thank you, Arjana. So Dimas, Diana, Raman, Katya.
Hello? Hello?
Dimas, yeah.
Yeah. I also want to make a point regarding something more controversial one. So yeah, from my own observation in Jakarta, Indonesia, I think it's not only in Jakarta actually, but there are some people that just ignore science. These people just don't care about what science say. They just think that they have the right to be free. They have the right to be do what they usually do. So my point is that I want to say that is human deserve to evolve or something. I mean, uh, if if we see that way, that there are some people that once again ignoring science and just don't care about the health of the others, I think we as the species, we just uh, do not have the gut to evolve for I think for evolve to the another level. So that is from my own understanding and opinion actually. So yeah, I'm open to the others if you want to whether agree or not. So yeah, that's my point.
Yeah. Thank you, Dimas. It's not about agreeing or not. We're just hearing the field. That is very important about what I'm going to talk to you about, right? So we're having this little experience right now about what it means if we open up field for every person to have or to express their opinion in a safe environment without being judged. It does not mean that you agree with everything what someone says. It's just you are there for people to express and to voice up what is coming out of their hearts so that you are strong enough to hold the space unconditionally. This is a very important part of what I'm going to talk today about. So then we've got still some participants or them, our beautiful co-creators of the space to share with us. I'm sure they also observe a lot.
I can share. I think we were left with ourselves alone. This is an important time for everyone, and this is an opportunity to stop running and achieve something.
Thank you, Diana. That's very wise. Very deep. Thank you. Katja, Roma.
I think I will continue with Diana's thoughts on this. What I observed during this pandemic, and it's already, I think, 9 months of the pandemic. So what I observed is that the world is kind of become more polarized. I mean that some people during this pandemic said that, okay, let's stop, let's rethink how do we behave, how do we exist, and to rethink like to start living more sustainably, more calmly, not in such a big pace. And from the other side, we saw a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of other people who said, okay, there is the time for a lot of opportunities. So they start running even more, trying to do more things. So this, it seems to me that the world became more polarized. We have on one hand more calm people that say, okay, let's stop. And on another hand, we have people who said, This is the time for opportunities, so let's try everything.
Thank you. Katyush?
Well, yes, thank you, Roman, because I think I'm very agree with what you are saying with this polarization into two extremes, I would say. And for me, I just wanted to share that for me it was extreme with a lot of opportunities and everything what has been happening during the year. It gave me so much power and intention to change the way it was before. So I think it's a lot of opportunities for self-reflection, for inner growth. And once we have this change in mindset, I think the changes in the our environment is just a matter of time. So I think that for me personally, what I observe is a lot of inner changes in the society.
Thank you. So usually this is the ball, Katya knows this, the ball traveling from hand to hand, because we are, taking care about that world, right? So this is what we are using, that whoever gets the right to speak, that we are speaking, for the world, we're taking care of that. So all what we say, all what we do and how we behave is to, hold that in our hands very dearly. So what I would like to add to this picture also, thank you for all I think also, Ola now have joined, but we haven't seen her, so if she would like to add something. I don't know if she hears us, but otherwise let me add what my observations are to add a little bit to this picture. So first of all, I would like to say that what I observed in the last year is that there is a lot of technological growth happening. So we've got a huge trend in 5G technology. We've got a huge trend in artificial intelligence technology. With all that, what it gives us as opportunities as well as challenges. And we are a society now, whether we understand what these challenges are for us, this is a good question. How deep we understand. So this is the first trend which we cannot ignore, which was not there at this speed like it is during 2020. So second speed is with all of that technology and all of that 5G and all this coverage, we have a huge flow of information, which was never there before. So information is free. It's a gigantic amount of information coming out now about humanity, about our truth. You can learn. If you have the right questions in your mind, you will always find the right answers. So the information is free to us like never before to explore what we want to know about ourselves. How do we navigate in this type of society as well? And the third one, yes, I would like to also mention probably about the impossibility to predict or to plan, because we have entered into the era where prediction and planning and the way we used to have it, we will forget about this. This is a totally different trajectories and speeds of change. We are not anymore in the control, and we are losing this control over our lives, or the government's losing control over the situation. So we are entering the phase of no concept of control whatsoever. Therefore, there is such a big, let's say, in German we say Gegenstand. Yeah, so there is a big against that no control, that opportunity and ability to control with artificial intelligence, etc., etc. So we have this no control and lots of willingness to control clashing now. It's really very, very interesting where the humanity is going with this. So that is what we are going to talk today about. What is happening and how do we work with sustainability with all that complexity, with all this beautiful story, which we are going to learn about who we are. Yeah. Because our science, our opportunities and technologies are going to bring us to the new level of understanding where we are on this. Because as I said, this is just a little dot, is a Milky Way, and it's just one star. And in the star system, we're just one planet. There is really big complexity out there to explore for us, as well as what sustainability can be. So here, let me give you a little bit of a theory. I really don't like it, and I less and less use it in my presentations, because you start sensing what I'm talking about, right? It's more about really experiencing this. It's more about getting that energy, that opportunity to connect to each other on a different level. But still, I would like to give you a couple of theoretical elements in there so that you can navigate afterwards if you want to learn more about this. So what I would like to introduce to you this concept of Iceberg Modem. So what this means is that we are seeing what we are seeing in our societies is this top of the iceberg. And this is what sustainable development goals are about. Reaching this, reaching that. So we see certain problems and we start approaching them, you know, like this, like the 17 goals. The problem is, and what we have just spoken about, what is coming out on the surface is this part right now. All the frustrations, all of the disagreements, inabilities, all what we are learning about the self, all the truths coming out, and all of that, that has to do with this part of the iceberg. And we have not seen that before. And what the COVID is doing for us is bringing that part of the iceberg for us to see what we are actually going to deal with in the next 10 years. And you see it all over different meetings of G20 or whatever, where the presidents say we enter the level of complexity we have never experienced before. No one knows how to navigate in that. No one knows how to navigate in that. We can go into artificial intelligence full control as an option, but otherwise we don't know how to navigate in this. So and this is what we are going to now talk about what are the alternative ways how we can approach this complexity. So I'm sure that you already spoke about the circular economy, I guess, in a different way within this winter school. So what I would like to say is that already in 2017, a European Commission starting looking at the sustainability as an ecosystems. Sustainability as a systems that we need to bring various sectors together, because otherwise, if we are just doing business and we are, let's say, just from the business environment, thinking that we can solve all sustainability questions and issues within just business format, this is not going to happen. It's a complex system, which includes various sectors and various stakeholders, which needs to be brought together to discuss, to share the common vision. And this is where in 2017, for the first time, we see that ecosystem entering into the sustainability agenda. And we have this report from the European Commission, you can share, you can look at it then afterwards, where they speak about what basically circular economy requires. It requires a sort of living labs, the spaces where this discussion can happen. So it requires systemic approach, coordination, improved coordination, co-creation and collaboration, experimentation. We're talking about the quadruple helix model, right? What that is a government, business, academia, and civil society working together on creating solutions for sustainable development. And business is just a little tiny part of that big, big picture, which we are saying what innovation, sustainable ecosystems are. So we are talking about knowledge sharing and the long-term vision, something we didn't know how to work with it. And we know that long-term vision for the complexity we are entering now, where it's impossible to predict, is very difficult. How we combine? We can't predict. At the same time, we need to have a long vision, right? So what is this vision? How do we form? How do we shape together this vision? So I give you the first example. So these were the first examples of the so-called living labs. I'm not going to give you the definition of what living lab is, because I used to do that before, but whenever I do this, definitions are limited, its possibilities. So I'd rather speak about different experiences so that you understand and make your own definition of what living lab, social lab is as a space. So Bristol Living Lab, this was the lab where all the different stakeholders coming together to co-create for this Bristol area, their sustainable living, right? We've got, this is one type of the living labs. We've got IMEC iLabs, which is more like a testing platform for new sustainable solutions where the businesses work together with governments and civil society to test different sustainable solutions, like different applications for sustainability on your iPhone, whatever. So whatever technology is in there, they can create that together, sustainable technology. That is Belgium. Here, there is another type of this type of lab, which is called the Circular Economy Lab, which is more a social lab, where the experts from the field of circular economy from all different areas come together to co-create solutions for Ontario for circular economy. And the first one, and was very famous, was about plastic, how they deal with plastic in this province in Canada. So those were the first ones. You see it's appearing around 2016, where people understand it. Sustainability is really complex stuff. So we cannot deal with it within one company anymore. We cannot deal with it within one company anymore. And that is the very clear statement on the international agenda, on science, on international institutions agenda, on the panels, on the conferences. Yeah, we reached the point where we understand sustainability is a complex systems change. So now the question is how we navigate in that complexity. Here, there is a new type of papers which are appearing here. So I'm also citing them, which is the whole stream of the papers which say that circularity and building circular economy is also as a property of the system rather than individual product or service. We are not looking at circularity of building circular businesses, not anymore like one product. And I can share it from my personal experience working with different institutions. One of them I can say openly, it was the Logitech, where I was also invited to explore with them what does it mean for Logitech to go circular. And believe me, we started with designing some of the products, and then eventually we ended up understanding how difficult it is to build the entire complex and entire ecosystem around this international super innovative company. So this is a challenge, really. So we enter there from already the experience of the many companies which are dealing with this transition. It's about how you build your supportive ecosystem. So social apps is another concept, and it started with this beautiful book called Social Apps Revolution with Zaid Hassan. His was the one who was, I'm also recommending you to read it. It's quite old. It's, I think, from 2014. So for sustainability, it's like old, right? But this is a background book which says that complex challenges, whatever they are, we need to, for complex challenges, we need to create spaces where this complexity can be dealt with. And so here in one of their Oxford labs, so this one is a lab about how to teach little kids, which are between 0 and 5 years old. So what is this education looks like? And then they came up with this different capitals, so benefits of the social app. So when we create spaces like this, what type of benefits do we all get? Businesses, governments, academia, civil society. So they are split. I mean, here it's just the beginning of analysis of those spaces. What I'm talking to you about, this literature just starting as we are talking. It's just very fresh, new. We haven't done that research. It's the first step of the research. And I'm a part of that also stream. So we're talking about the human capital, so where we learn about us humans, who we are really, what our powers are. We talk about social capital, our ability to build the network, weaving this powerful network of the co-creation and co-support of each other. Then we're talking about intellectual capital, that definitely we have new knowledge, we learn from each other, we create new websites, new communication materials. We have a new physical capital, we create different new products, services, as well as a financial capital. This is where we create, of course, economic value as well. So from all of that interesting stuff. So here I'm coming to talk to you about the real, something real. And this was my experience, my Swiss experience. I see someone else joined us as well. I think Diana joined us. Would you like, Diana, to quickly present yourself? If you could have also your camera on, or whoever comes, please, guys. Diana, sorry, we saw you. Okay, sorry. So there was Ola who joined us. Ola, if you're here, can you quickly say a couple of words? So where you are in now, and what is your aha moment so far in the school, so that we also welcome you in our space now.
Sorry.
So what's your name, where you are, and what is your aha moment in the winter school?
My name is Ola. I'm staying in Barcelona now. Mm-hmm. And like, what should I say about school?
Aha moment, or something what so far has been the most interesting, most important learning for you in this winter school?
I think everything. I was so inspired of all lectures.
Oh, thank you. That is also an answer. Thank you. So that we also have you, because it's very important that we are all seeing each other. This is one space, and yeah, thank you for sharing.
Thanks a lot.
So I'm talking to you about the real experience. This experience is very unique in many ways. It's very large in a way what actors are involved in it. You can see it's Impact Hub Lausanne, Impact Hub Geneva, Swiss Federal Institute of Technology, Foundation in Switzerland, Collaboratie Helvetica Social Enterprise, as well as the United Nations. So those 5 actors co-created together something which is very, very new for the world. And I'm going to present to you this experience. I was a big part of this whole story, representing the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology. So now what we started with sensing and sharing with each other and learning what it can be, the space, right? From our experiences, a little bit felt what that is. It was a little bit of theory, so that you can also refer to the theory. But as I say, theory in this, what I'm going to present to you, is really not that important. What is important is our experience and our intention. And here I'm going to share with you the real experience so that we learn from it all together. So, background. There is a social lab. It was the first social lab of its kind in the world. It was prepared in 2018 and conducted in 2018 by 5 different institutions coming together, the ones who had challenges to hear each other even. We had very big differences in everything, how we see the world, how we interact, what our sizes are as the players in the world, etc., etc. All of that was different, but we came together to try to co-create something very new. So we know that there is this circular economy, it's SDG 12. I'm sure you spoke about SDGs many times already. I'm not going to repeat again this. So we also understood that ecosystems are key for circular economy transformation, that the partnership goal 17 out of them is the one to start with. Because if we cannot build those partnerships, if we cannot build deep, meaningful partnerships, we're not going to move anywhere with SDGs. That's we also understood. And for this, that we need all of those new ideas and concepts, which we haven't learned at universities, we haven't learned it at schools, we haven't learned it in our families, majority of us. So we have to, in a very short time, to learn that ourselves as responsible adults, right? So this is what we are learning in the spaces: serendipity, agile governance, collective leadership, cross-sector co-creation, awareness-led innovation, social labs, and mindfulness. We work a lot with mindfulness as well, and meditation in the process of how we co-create solutions. So you can imagine such different, big differences coming together and learning something we haven't experienced collectively before. So we asked ourselves this beautiful question on how to orchestrate social fields for co-creation of true circular economy solutions, because they're so complex, those solutions. We cannot do it by our own. We cannot do it by one company. So this is a totally new setting, which we all have entered, guys and girls. That was a lot of fun, I can tell you, because we entered that space with all our mindsets, which we learned somewhere out there, right? Those mindsets which led us in this, what we have in observe in the world. And we need to transform ourselves, therefore transform the system which we are working in by transforming ourselves. That was a challenge. So we have done that for Canton Vaud in Switzerland. This is Lausanne city where I'm located right now. It's a 3-month journey for quite some people. We took them on a journey for this transformation. And we have been preparing this as a team for 6 months before we took people on this journey. So you see, these are the big players which have created that. That was I'm not saying it was cheap. It was quite extensive in terms of resources, time, and a lot of mental energy involved the project. These are the partners. You can see there's quite a big partners, because we all wanted to approach this Marcel Proust saying what he said: the real voyage of discovery consists not in seeing new landscapes, but in having new eyes. How can we have and update our eyes through which we see the world together? So you can see here, there is this circle, and we know this is how we approach sustainability usually. We've got one circle, for example, circular economy topic. We've got technology, finances, business model, policies, governance. That's what we adjust to approach this. However, the problem is lying not in this. The problem is in values, lifestyles, habits, human behavior, silos, and mindset. So this is where the problem is. You see, this is a challenge. So we understand that the complexity which we are entering is not possible to be dealt with only with these separate pieces. The puzzle is much more complicated. So for that, what we did, we had the topic, and it doesn't matter what topic you have. You add to that a special space where you gather people and you create for them a certain awareness-led process so that they can come with an intention and go this path together with all the challenges which we meet on the way when we deal with diversity. How to deal with diversity? Of course, you can regulate it with artificial intelligence and force everyone to do what they're supposed to be doing. What are the other options how you can deal with diversity? Yeah. And with frustration and with all of that, what human hearts have, because we don't learn how to deal with frustration. It's out of our education system. So this was the co-hosting team. You see, the co-hosting team was also quite different than OM. It's all ladies. This is how it was at the beginning. Now it's different, and I will tell you, now men are coming into that as well. But back then, that was, you know, the young female force, which was driving that transition and transformation. You can see here, Swiss Federal Institute in Technology, Impact Hub Geneva, Impact Hub Lausanne. You also know that Moscow has also Impact Hub. Social Enterprise Collaboratia Helvetica, and Krista, who came to us as a graphic recorder later on, because at the beginning it was 4 people, and because of the serendipity which emerged, we got a new person in the middle of that process entering our team as a graphic recorder of this. I will talk to you later a little bit about what graphic recorder is. So those were the people who applied for this transformation, who would like to explore what new opportunities can we co-create for Canton Vaud, and how can we deal with this complexity. So you see they are very different. Engineer, you got here the scientist, biology, you've got lawyer here, you've got artists. So this is another engineer, you've got an artist here. Yeah, so there you've got all the variety you can have on this planet coming together. Okay, so this is already complicated enough. So to deal with this, but this is what makes it interesting, to have a unity in diversity. How do we do this? Yeah. So we were utilizing, and you can have a look at it later on yourself, on your own. We utilized the theory U is one of the frameworks, much more frameworks by Otto Scharmer from MIT, Sloan Business School. And we looked at this particular process. This was what we took people with this process, along this process, yeah, over the 3 months. So 1.5 months here, then we've got that important point, and approximately 1.5 months there. So what this theory says in short is that what we are here, and we would like to get somewhere there. And what we're trying to do all the time with all our approaches, modern approaches, is try to jump here. We try to jump, and from the problems into solutions, from problems into solutions. So that's why they don't match. It never works, because the problems have a very deep stuff in there where these problems are coming from. And if you are not dealing with these problems, if you're not creating space for these problems to surface and to listen to them and to welcome them and to learn from them, there is no way you get here. And that's what we see everywhere in the world, including Russia. Right? Yeah. So we cannot jump at, there is no shortcut. We have to deal and face what we have. And this is what slowly in Russia we'll learn that too. And as I said, I'm involved in various levels, interesting conversations and interesting work. And I can tell you that there is a lot of stuff happening in understanding how we can get from here to there and how ready we are to listen to each other. So this was our journey in 2018. And I'm telling you this experience from 2018. And I will be telling you afterwards how we evolved from there. But I'm telling you this because this is a basis. This was the first of its kind. So this was a very important learning point for us as humans to understand how at all can we deal with complexity. That's why this paper exists. There is a presentation exists on this. You can listen more about this. But my kind of whole point is that it's good I'm presenting you this because it's a basis of all what came out of this. And I will share also about that. So there is this 3 months process. We have been going through different days of the workshops here, midterm retreat together, and then so kickoff workshop, then practical workshop, then midterm retreat, then technical workshop, demo day of our prototypes, and feed forward. So this is how we, instead of jumping this way, have gone through the entire process, and that was a lot of fun. And believe me, what we thought here we're going to have there, what happened? It was not like this. So when we, instead of jumping, go through the entire process, we actually hear what really is needed. So the outcome here, when you go through the process like this, is totally different. It's unpredictable because it's really what is needed. So that makes a difference. So here, I'm showing you our manifesto, our collective manifesto. Those little lines are the manifesto of each participant of why they believe in this process and what are they kind of bringing in this process, what they expect from this process at the very beginning. It's our collective manifesto. And our artists did it in this digital form. So it's an art piece of art out of our collective intentions. So this is another artist who was actually graph recording all of that. So she was sitting and observing in each of the workshops, and she was doing a lot of this graphic recording, like in a meditative form. She was sitting in her own meditation as a graphic recorder, just drawing everything what is happening and just capturing all these different energies, etc. in this form. So we have an entire book of these graphic recordings of this process, which is also very interesting when we include art in this process. You see how it looked like. You see the beauty in that, because you see a lot of adults very, with very big ambitions in their lives, very different ones coming together. And this is how we experience our co-learning process together. You see, this is our ecosystem, how we were drawing this. This is how it looks like. So that's the piece of art which have collected. Many people were drawing first time in their lives, like we got engineers, going and just doing this stuff, because it was not right and wrong. It was just to express who you are, and everyone was doing it on kind of their own, and at the same time in this collective presence. So you can see here that we were utilizing various methods and tools, a lot of mindfulness sessions. We were utilizing dreaming circle from the ancient tradition of Aborigines, from their beautiful wisdom. We were utilizing the deep listening practices, theory U. Social presencing theater is one of the formats to sense with our body, with our body intelligence, how we sense the ecosystem. We include not only head, but all our forms of intelligence. Poetry, we have heard and created poetry. We have created various arts. We did the Qigong. We were partnering with nature. We were exploring and learning from nature, what nature was showing us as an answers to our questions. And we did also a lot of free modeling of the prototypes, which we have created for the region. So this is one of our meditation practices after we have done this collective drawing. So there is a paper, if you are interested, which is written on that experience, is going to be published in the Elsevier and one of the handbook on circular economy and sustainability. So here, the serendipities are learning from the co-hosting team. And we split those learnings into learnings from co-hosting teams and learning from the participants. From co-hosting team, you see here, there is this landing, which was done for the United Nations Sustainable Development Solutions Network, where we were in the top 10 solutions for the United Nations, and it was presented at Columbia University as one of the options how to deal with this complexity and sustainability. So we were recognized at the level. Jeffrey Sachs was the one who was selecting us to be in this top 10. So like UN and the top universities know about this. And since then, there was a big stream of all of that. So you can read this piece. And what we have noticed as the main learnings for the co-hosting team about how to govern these self-orchestrating systems, how to govern this complexity where there is no hierarchy anymore, where you forget about all of those kind of big, small power games. How do you just govern that with the flow? Oh, that was a lot of fun to learn how to do that. So then there was a big part on the mindfulness and meditation. When we were going through this process of you, we were experiencing in each of this, let me draw it, in each of these you elements we were having different types of the mindfulness experience. So we started with gratitude as a contemplation topic in our meditation. When we start, usually the day when we come together, we start with a meditation and with contemplation on one particular frequency, which would be, for example, gratitude. So we started our journey with the gratitude frequency. So then there is deep listening. What does it mean? So the contemplation of deep listening. Then in a midterm retreat around this point, reconnection to self, what that means when we reconnect to self, and what it means and how do we co-create solutions on the outside world. Then sense of interconnectedness when we're coming to this point. Then true human empowerment when we come to this point, what means to be truly empowered for us as humans. And the final version of this transformative journey was about true love. What is this? This pure true love. What does it mean for us as humans? How can we co-create, and what we co-create when we are in this pure love frequency? So then this was selective learnings from our participants. So this is the second type of learnings described in the paper as well. So we did this data collection from harvestings on the workshops, blog post of seminars, of participants, interviews, entry-exit questionnaire. So that was designed, like the research was also designed to cover and learn as much as we can from this process. So you see, we split that because there is no literature. We are forming this literature. We split that into the personal development and new skills for the participants, in the community building and ecosystem network, and the deep understanding of what circular economy is and awareness-based solutions, as well as people were taking actions on climate. So the real actions which were outside the framework of the circular economy lab, which we had that they learned, and that's why they did it in the outside world. You see, some of the most interesting, important, of course, you can read more in the paper if you would like to, but here, listening is an active process. It's by doing things differently that you create different solutions. I changed the basic way I'm reasoning in general. And there were a lot of also engineers who were introduced into that sensing mode, right? For them, that was a lot of aha moments, which you can learn from that when you open up to new forms of intelligence, which you never utilized before, maybe, right? And when they were drawing and they were like, oh, I didn't know I can even draw, or I can meditate or whatever. So people learn so much about who they are. Community building, for example, I feel the power of collective intelligence. For me, the biggest change was to find my community, or deep understanding of circular economy. And that is important because we start with this creating solution on our outside world, and what we come into after all of that journey is that we start with ourselves. So we should not try to design solution, but rather should design a process of co-creation. Circular economy is just one element inside a bigger picture where there needs to be a larger shift. So this is one of those, just some elements which I would like to share with you. But if you want to see more of what these spaces are capable of doing, you can read this piece. It's for free right now on my website before it's now getting published, and then people have to buy the book. So the final remarks about the Beyond Waste Lab. You see, this is a beautiful wisdom from one of our participants. We are not here to change the world, but more to start the process of internal change. And this is an engineer who said that. It was very beautiful. That's why it was a gentleman, which was very skeptical at the beginning. He was like going to, create some new technology or some new stuff. And then he's like, oh yeah, okay. So where are the problems really? And this is where he ended up actually with this quote, and we have it, and it's very beautiful. So what we offer in this paper, after all these learnings in the presentation, which is below here, I told you that we made it to the top 10 solutions of the United Nations Sustainable Development Network solution for 2019. So there is a video where we present these learnings, and you can also read the paper. Paper is a deeper version of this. It's quite a large paper, actually. So we offer some suggestions of how to improve such spaces in this paper. We also offer to rethink the concept of success or the concept of KPI of such spaces. We need to understand that how we measure result will change. Eventually, it has to change because it's not linear anymore. We're entering the times of complexity. It's not linear anymore, and we have to deal with this. So we need new evaluation of the frameworks which are needed, how we evaluate success of these spaces. Yeah, we need new ecosystem facilitation skills, because we facilitated this space as a team of 5. And as a team of 5 to facilitate that complexity, you can imagine how much work we need to do as facilitation team among ourselves, because we ourselves are so different. So we have to tune first in a certain frequency of quality of space ourselves, so that we are actually capable to take someone else with us. So that was a challenge for us to facilitate that ourselves first. Then ecosystems self-orchestration rather than management or control. We are out of era of control. Someone tries to put and install control on us. That's true. So the question is, can we offer alternative solution? Because so far we don't know the alternative solution. As humans, we can co-create how we orchestrate this complexity. So it's up to us. When we know how to do that, there will be no need in control. There will be no need. And awareness-led social spaces formats can be cheaper and shorter. We also came up to that point because it was quite an expensive journey we've been on, very large and complex. So we learned how to do it smaller. We learned how to utilize that in a smarter way, as well as use our resources in a smarter way. So I know that this is now coming to 1:30. At this point, I would like to ask you whether you have a question right now to ask about this process. Otherwise, there is a second part from me, which I would like to share with you, which is from where it evolved, those spaces. What kind of spaces, how can you utilize that in different formats and different settings? Because this big one was the basis of how humanity was learning the complexity, right? And then, of course, we said, okay, we cannot afford that. It's too long. It's too expensive. We learned a lot from this, but we need to see what are the smaller options we can offer, where we can do it faster, deeper. So do you have questions on this lab experience, how it is? Yes, Dasha, I see you.
Yes, thank you. Actually, a few questions. On one of the graphs, I saw word silos. I tried to translate it, but I didn't understand what does it mean, silos.
Silos, silos. Silos would be the beliefs which we have about certain things. So, for example, we believe that engineers, are not capable to sense, or we believe that, the artists are bad with mathematics, etc. So, silos, those are the set of kind of beliefs which limit our understanding of each other, just because we are coming into this circle with beliefs which we learned from before. And those silos very much bother us in terms of our development.
I see. So limitations of seeing world and people that they're different.
From our previous experience, because those silos, those silos were built from some experience before. Usually it's not a very good one.
Thank you. And another question is, you showed this graphic recording, which really interesting. So she was kind of, you were brainstorming or talking, and she was just meditating and drawing. So how does it help? Does it help you in the future? You looked at these pictures and you it's just instead of writing down things, or you also were writing down your thoughts? How does it work? How does it help you?
Thanks, Dasha. It's really a great question. So we didn't know we even need this. This is what serendipity is. It's something you are learning on your way, something you didn't expect, but because you create certain frequency of the space shows you what needs to be done. So actually, the Krista is a girl who is very talented drawer. We didn't know about that as well. So that all came out like this. So the point was, she was just helping with us with some logistics. And then once, because there is a certain frequency created in this space, she was sitting in the corner and she took her notes, and she was supposed to make notes about observations. So she was helping us to design the process. And she was first doing notes. She's like, okay, I noticed this, I noticed that, I noticed that. And then suddenly she just started drawing that with pictures. And she started drawing all what she notices with all of these pictures per, let's say, per unit of those, since we go along the process. And then she didn't show us, and she was just drawing. And then she's like, you know what? It's really good stuff to actually capture this, because we have video, we have different collected data as much as we could collect this. We have collected lots of data. And this graph recording showed us so well on how this was evolving. And when you look at this book now, which is a graph recording book, you can just, like a comics, right? You go through this and you just see how it evolved. And this is also a form of data. We don't know how to analyze it in terms of artificial intelligence, thank God at this stage, right? But we know how we humans analyze this. You know, when you look at this graph, you know what it takes, what it triggers in your heart, right? You know how to relate to that. That's what, that's what makes us different from the artificial intelligence, because of course you can program some stuff, but what triggers you when you look all this, you see this is even done on the usual paper. It's a picture of that, so it's not even professionally. So it was just her notes, like notes like this. She was just starting drawing this, and it turns out to be, and so she became our graphic recorder as a serendipity element of the space, because space showed us, hey, you have utilized you have resources which you didn't utilize properly. And because we didn't plan things, we let everything unfold how it should unfold. We realized that we have amazing graphic recorder, but no one trained her, we didn't know about this. If we would plan and limit things, we would never know how much resources do we have and what resources can we utilize for learning. And that is important learning that we had. Thanks, Dasha, that you brought this point.
It's when amazing that you noticed, and so she's still doing this every time.
She is now professional recorder. She's professional graphic recorder. So this is her now, part of the job now. So that you know,
I actually wrote it for our future team. I wrote it because it's an amazing idea, and I've seen on Instagram people doing this. So when they have like listening to the lecture, they were doing this and then showed it in stories. And I found it like, but it was many months ago. I just didn't think about it. Just involve this person in the team, but now I see that it can be very helpful and inspiring.
Art is something which artificial intelligence is behind humanity at this stage, right? So this is one of the elements which we need to remember. So in the times of artificial intelligence being and taking the key things which humans used to be providing, what else can we develop as humans in us? This is another element. So how do we include art? How do we include the sensation which they cannot do? So this is an interesting element. These spaces are about this. So do you have any other questions? Otherwise, I would like to show you how we started from there, developing more of these different processes, so that maybe that might help you in your work and how to make it shorter and faster and you know, and deeper. Do you have any questions on? Yeah, I don't know. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't. Thank you for interesting presentation, Betty. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So then I will show you what came out of this, because you can see that this was a big story for many actors involved. So one of the ways how I utilize the spaces is just bring that in the usual master course, which we teach at Samara University. It's actually before the lab happened, the prototype of how we co-create space of learning was done within Samara University at a master course, which I have there called Social Innovation for Circular Economy. So you can see students here going through the 4D mapping, ecosystem mapping, where we work with our bodies to start sensing what ecosystem is in Samara region, in Samara city. You see here, they are representing various actors and how these actors are connected, and it's dynamic moving. So we are basically utilizing social presencing theater to sense where we are as ecosystem and to learn about each other. So then you see the 3D modeling, you see the circles where we sit and discuss and reflect. So it is a usual master course, which I'm using with tools which I'm using at the usual education process. You can read more about this here, it's in Russian. So the second thing which came out of this is another Russian experience. This is a 3-day education program which we designed at Samara University, which gathered key players of innovation ecosystem, and we did the collaboration work for them for how to create innovation in Samarskaya Oblast. The key players coming together, you can see here, that's all big guys and girls, or the very important ones and very important positions at the rectorship level, at the mayor's level, at the vice minister level. So all these people coming together and have a lot of fun 3 days. So of course we were learning about sustainable development goals, but we were utilizing nature, and behind here is the Volga River. We were doing the 4D mapping in terms of learning and sensing how the ecosystem is. 3D modeling of our projects, of our processes in the region, as well as the reflection circles, as well as moving and different experiences with the body. And you see there was a lot of men here. That was for them a lot of fun because, those are big, important men. And so it's quite challenging for them. But you know what? They really appreciated that. And we also had some time in nature where we were allowing them time to go and to talk to Volga River, to the forest on their own with some of these contemplation questions. So it was a lot of interesting experience. Since then, there were a lot of changes also happening in the region. So they listened to each other like they never listened before. And believe me, there was government, there was businesses, there was academia, there was all civil society, all the people who have challenges in communicating with one another. And they were all brought through this process together. So now, after that, we know that if you look at the ratings of the partnerships, Samara region is actually on the top. It outperforms Moscow and Moscow region in terms of how the partnerships are organized. It's since last year in the first place in the rating of Ministry of Economic Development of Russia. So there is, so this is another one. This what I did in Samara, because you know that I became advisor to rector. So I was taking the management of the university together on the 2-day educational program. And we, together with the management, those are the heads of institute, the head of department, the heads of cathedrals, all the different units at the university together coming. Here is our rector. And we have been through this 2-day process where we explore what means awareness-led innovation in education and how that does it feel, how can they integrate that in their work and their everyday work. So you see here, this is the head of the Institute of the Rocket Science standing. So we've got a lot of fun, very unexpected people. So those are 2 facilitators. Those are different people, modeling. And of course, also there is a light always. Yeah, we had a beautiful candle. So this was recently. And we got new rector and we got all these new opportunities, of course. And my job was to bring together the top management of the university to explore what does it mean to have a different level of awareness and how to integrate this. So here is some of the Swiss experience I'm involved in, which came out of our Swiss Big Lab. So this is another model of how to deal with this complexity. You see here, there are beautiful people, beautiful humans. Catalyst Lab #1 in the Future Laboratory of Switzerland, the first prototype ever in the world, where we've gathered people, and you see here, they are working with particular SDGs here. You see, they're all very different. You have older, you have very young, you have all the ages as well, and they are all working on their SDGs individually. What we are doing for them is we're creating for them space in the container that their projects can grow. It doesn't matter what sustainability projects they're working on, be that business, be that social movement, be that educational program, be that government. And you see here, so for example, I was working very closely with this lady, so it was more about the municipal governance, so bringing citizens together in dealing with the municipality, so with local issues, so mini kind of government format. We've got here people working on the finance, on education, on different, working in Africa with this African projects. We've got people working again with education, with banking and the financial system, with the healthcare, etc. So all of those topics have to do with sustainability, and we created for them a container where they can grow together, and of course individually creating those ecosystems of change. So this was the first future laboratory in Switzerland, first of this kind in the world. That was a very interesting process. I was there teaching module 3 also in ecosystem, so co-facilitating that. So now we are in the 2nd edition of this lab. And that is the lab for 2021. So we've got, some new measures, etc., being integrated in this process. And you see here again, very beautiful, very diverse, very diverse. Someone working with artificial intelligence, someone working with businesses, someone working with refugees, someone working with circular economy. All of that. So you've got very different. So here's Borana and Eric are the ones which I'm coaching 2 of them, because we are testing different formats of how we can co-create these processes, and I'm taking all the time different role in those different settings, how to work with sustainability. So in this particular lab, I am more on the coaching and the learning side, what it means this time. I'm taking 2 people, And I am helping to build them their ecosystems of change. And I'm taking them through this process individually so that they can come and then they share collectively, they learn from each other, and they go and build their own ecosystems. So this is a new way. You see how it develops. It develops, the humans develop their own thinking and understanding about their power, about how they can co-create without any aggression, without any protests. They just go and do it. Okay, so because when you have love, when you have this frequency, no one can stop you because it's just, love is so infectious. It's much more infectious than any COVID, right? So this frequency just blows out everything and transforms everything. So that is what it is. And we've got here, for example, Silvana works for animal rights and also for vegan life, and it's a big social movement. So you see this, people are having very, very different inspirations. It's their passions. Some of them business, some of them civil society, some of them government, some of them whatever. Doesn't matter. So we just bring passionate people together and let them learn from each other, from their diversity, because we all create what? A future laboratory of Switzerland. Switzerland we would like to have. So what are we learning in those spaces? We're learning to navigate in the complexity and information flow. We work in the cross-sectoral teams with diversity. We co-create the space of trust to approach complexity, because complexity, you can either put in everyone's, like force everyone with artificial intelligence to behave in a certain way, or you can work with complexity in a different way. Yeah, so this is the way how we can work with is creating space of trust. Yes, you need a lot of love, you need a lot of compassion, you need a lot of patience, but you can do that. I know it. Explore the innovation systems through the other forms of intelligence, not only our logic, but body, art, intuition, all of that. Listen to each other in a generative way, without any judgment, with appreciation of each participant's intelligence, each participant's kind of gifts which they're bringing to the common space. Ask the right questions and open space for serendipity to emerge. And Dasha was pointing out very rightly. One of the serendipities is that we figured out we have such talent we could not imagine. And we would utilize, in the old framework, we would utilize it in the wrong way. You see, that's very important to open up the space. The space shows you who is doing what. It shows its best, and that's what it is. Ask the right questions. This is what our education system does not teach us. We have to learn how to ask the right questions. Prototype and experiment and implement that in our life. That's what we learn in this type of different spaces. And I gave you different examples of it, both in Russia and in Switzerland. And here we're coming to the final point, stewardship of ecosystems in new times. We're not talking about leadership. It's changing because it's collective leadership. It's rather stewardship. It's allowing space to be in a certain frequency all the time, that it is possible that we learn collectively and also grow collectively, all together. And even know that there is a freedom of information. There is so much information on the internet. You can learn everything what you want to learn. You can find information about everything, every single question that you have in your mind. It's all free. So the question is, what humans do with this when they learn how this is really operated, how this is governed, etc., etc. How do we handle the truth about us as humanity? Do we get into emotions, frustrations, feelings of scarcity, feelings of disappointments, and so on, and where it can take us, right? Or by knowing that, we're taking that responsibility and grow collectively into a different phase of humanity and say, hey, we learned, we know what the truth is, and let us take us together to another level. So because we are tired with the game of duality, we are tired with the game of, competition and fighting and aggression and, all that. And how can we utilize this energy so that we can collectively grow together? This is how we deal with the complexity, because outer and inner sustainability, they are one. On the outer, you cannot build until you build that on the inner. And those processes, which I gave you examples where I'm involved in, I'm researching, I'm teaching those, I'm in those for a long time. Those spaces actually help us to understand that this is the key. And from there, this happens automatically, because the only what we only can teach with our own example. There is no other way of teaching, really. There is no other way of, getting people the point of what we want to kind of say, what we want to share. That means a true human empowerment, right? And another element which this space shows us, that probably there is something beyond words, beyond theories. Our new educational opportunity. Can we learn how can we create with our hearts? Because when we create not only with minds and words, we create with energy, with frequency, with the quality of space, that people want to be in this quality of space. They want to come, they want to co-create. Because maybe humans, relatively to artificial intelligence, have something what we are still about to explore about ourselves. That is about how strong our hearts are. What can we create with this energy? So the quality of space here is how we co-create our future, because it gives us new results, the quality of space and how we hold that frequency for each other. And that moves us from duality towards the unified consciousness with unity, where we see not the scarcities, not the blamings, not the shamings, but the opportunities, and bringing everyone, having space for everyone to grow, without judgment. This is a new opportunity for humanity. We have this quantum leap to make, right? The question, where we make it now, in which type of society? Is this society which is controlled and manipulated, or is it society of the grown adults who are grateful for everything they have experienced, and now they have an opportunity to create a different society? So, because this is the key, the mindset. Because the mindset determines how we live, the quality of life. It's not about Vova, Petya, etc., who is guilty in something, right? It's not about the particular names. It's about our mindset and our internal quality of space. And from there we create. Yeah, so this is a different story. Because humanity learned a lot to blame someone all the time. We blame everything, everywhere, and we refer all the time to our past. It does not allow us to move forward with the future. Because we're trapped in the same type of patterns. And these spaces, what I just showed you, they teach us very well, and they show us this very well. So this is the question. This is a very big question, which I would like to leave you with. And probably let me then say this, finish a presentation, and we'll see how much time is still left, which is still left to talk a little bit about this. So this is the final question in the presentation at the Columbia University for the UN, which we shared from our experience in this big lab. How can we co-create, explore together the potential of awareness-led social spaces for healing co-creation of solutions? The serendipity can emerge to show what is truly needed. And that is very important. Not to say what we want to have as a final result. If we know what we want to have as a final result, we're running the same patterns. We're creating the same result. It's like, if you want to have what you've never had, you have to do what you've never done. So are we brave enough to collectively open space for serendipity to emerge? And then asking that question, it will show us what we need, what we truly need. We start all the time with complex engineering solutions, and then engineers at the end of the process, they're like, maybe we just need a bit more love in this space. Let's start with that, because from there things will just flourish and bloom. That's how it looks like when you have these experiences. So asking the right questions is the key, because we don't really master this art. We are not taught at the universities and schools how to do that. Because if we ask right questions, guys and girls, we will find right answers. And then what do we do with these answers? See, that's a good point. Are we ready to know these answers? And here is the final slide of the presentation. And there are very interesting pictures in here, as you can see. So one of them is, of course, our blue marble. So blue marble is a picture taken from Apollo mission 17 in space. You see, I'm starting and finishing with space topics since I am at the Aerospace University. The beautiful marble and how it looks like. Yeah. So this is the most cited and the most famous picture in the world of Earth, according to the statistics. So here in this corner, I've got a line, and this line represents something. And he says, you never know how strong you are until being strong is the only choice you have. That is a message from the line. Okay? So here is this another message. And you know, saw that inauguration of Biden. There was this beautiful poet, a lady of color, a beautiful, talented lady who made a beautiful poem. And in this poem, we have this saying, there is always light if we are brave enough to see it. There is always light if we are brave enough to be it. Amanda Corman, right? She's probably in the entire inauguration of Biden was the light of this whole process, right? So that's a very beautiful poem. So, and then if I take this and I have to take that and combine it together, I would rephrase this line's phrase. And behind this line, we know these lines. We know them. Who are these lines? And see, I can rephrase this line's point in a different way. I would say, you never know if your true human power, the power of your heart and of your light and of your love, until it's all what is left for you. Yeah, you don't have any choices anymore. Then to experience who you truly are. And for that, we are very grateful to those lines. Without them, we would not be able to know who we are, because it's up to them to create for us this interesting setting of the game, so that we can truly learn what our true power is. And here we're coming back to this beautiful lady. Yeah. Without these lines, we don't know how to find out the light. This is important mission there. It's just from duality into unity. Yeah? We are moving collectively into unified consciousness framework. And in unified consciousness framework, the first thing what we have is a gratitude for what has happened to us before. Because this is a learning. We are grateful to our teachers. We're grateful for all the setting which has been there before. And now we can take it forward. You see, that's important. And those lines are there, and we are grateful to them. So this is the end of the presentation. Hello, there's someone waving to us. So we've got 10 minutes. And, you know, I would like to make a checkout out of this space. Thank you. We've got to check out to do, right? We take our blue marble, the blue marble in, and do it in a way. I'm not doing the way in the nomination. You just, yeah, you just take this ball and you say, and the checkout question is, what am I taking with me as a takeaway from this? From this setting, from this particular, these 2 hours we spent together, out of what I have heard now, so that we share that in our big puzzle and we see how our collective learning is evolving. So there is no right and wrong. We contribute to that, and important that we listen what the others contribute, because it's also our learning. Remember, we are as individuals and we are as collective. And we need to start understanding and sensing what collective means, which means it's so important to hear what the other learnings are there, because this is the learnings of our collective. We are moving together as collective. That is very important. This is what we start introducing into education, how to learn and hear what collective says to us. So the aha moments and something you would like to share as a checkout out of the space. I'm putting this bowl in the middle. So whoever is ready, please go ahead.
I can be the first. Thank you very much, Daria. It was amazing lecture. Yes, guys said me before that it would be great, but I couldn't be prepared for this. Just really, thank you very much. So what my aha moment was about, like, change the management, like controlling other people to self-orchestrating. And it so resonates with me because all my childhood, I was so
forced to go to school, do something I don't like, something not resonating with me, with people that I'm not resonating. But when I quit school, quit university, I let myself do what I love, and then I came to this organizing myself. It's so natural. It's so nice just to be free and to be you. What you were saying, all these methods that you used, it's amazing. Thank you very much.
Could I do the second? My aha moment was I was really surprised in how much techniques, yes, can we apply for our business cultivation, for cultivation our team building. Yes, it's really great experience, and I will try to maybe apply them to my own system. Thank you. Interesting.
Thank you.
Me as well. I was surprised about the level or the huge, like that experiments you did, and I was like inspired of this because I'm like now I'm happy that that's somewhere happening in the world. You know, to know that somewhere the people developing the economic on this way. So thanks a lot for sharing.
Thank you.
I think Dimas put up your hand.
Yeah, Dima?
Okay, so I'll take my turn. So what I've gathered so far is that I began to realize the importance of diversity. The diversity meaning is quite large in this context, and I want to make the point regarding diversity also means to respect what how the others perceive some things. So when people don't have the same understanding with us, I think it's okay. That's exactly the point of diversity, right? Which means that every human is unique. Where well, we need to respect them, their unique side of it. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And Raman also wrote to us that he had to leave, but he's so grateful for all the aha moments. I think we will share like later then what his aha moments were, but he's grateful for those moments. Thank you. Who would like to go next? Diana. Yeah.
Maybe. Thank you for your sharing. It was amazing. Love, passion, respect are what matters. We are different, and this is our power. We just have to learn to listen and hear each other. I'm listening you, and you love your job, your missions. I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks. Mm-hmm. Who haven't spoken yet? Anastasia? Huh?
Yeah. So what I've taken from this lecture, from today's lecture, is that it's important to change the world by loving it, by loving with the love to each person, and to understand the difference between them, and that everybody, they are unique. And it's important to love each other, and the changes they will be they will go by the different way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. Katerina, would you like to share some of your aha moments? Or
sure.
you would like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hope you can hear me well. I think it's amazing serendipity, or how it is called, coincidence, the timing of this class with the event that is happening right now in Russia and in many countries all over the world is about changes and opportunities And if everyone would listen to this lecture and change the world through the heart, through the inner changes, that would be really, I think, impactful. So I'm very grateful to everyone who attended today's class, and I'm very grateful to our exceptional speaker for this opportunity to feel and to experience that these changes are possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. So from my side, I'm very grateful that I can see how easily it is for humans actually to relate to this love. You see, we don't learn something very important within our educational system, but something very key. And when we start really being this, you will see how many people will immediately respond to you, because it's our nature. That frequency is our nature. And no one told us about this. Okay? So be brave, because many people, they are so timid about this. They're like, yeah, it's great that we did it here, but then how I go outside and how it is to be with an open heart? Can I be injured, etc., etc.? Well, your power of human heart. Remember, look at this. They are there only for one reason, so that we learn to be light and love. You see, this is very important to remember. There is no point to be angry at them, only to say thank you and go forward. That's it. So with this, I'm so grateful that we are just knowing slowly who we truly are. No? Well, that's it. And we love those guys too. They're beautiful. Just because they are part of the collective, Johnny. They are part of the collective shifts. And they also will go through this process. Everyone will. So thank you so much. We are knowing this, we're knowing that. Thank you to Samara University for all this beautiful opportunity for us to share with each other. Yeah, thank you, Samara University, an amazing team, organizing team, Katya, Roma, who are brave enough, Olga, to do that as a first prototype. We will learn from this and then take it forward to the next level, hopefully. We will learn collectively. And we remember that, right? We remember this. Because for us to go to the new level, to handle that complexity, which I showed at the beginning, remember 5,500 galaxies. We are about to learn who we are. We see how much complexity humans are going to experience also about universe and about ourselves. Are we prepared to face it? What kind of consciousness as humanity we need to have to be able to handle that complexity? With all the technology which we are creating. So this is our world, and I'm ready to take responsibility for our world as humanity. And thank you to these guys, especially, so that we learn how to do it. Thank you so much. Lots of love to you guys. And yeah, you're just all amazing. Just by the fact that you spend your time on learning how to become better and how to do better in the world. Just by signing to this school, it already shows a lot. Katyush, do you want to say something at the end? Or so, or otherwise we close this? You would like to close, I'll give you the closing word.
Well, I think maybe just to finish with formalities. It's just that today was the final class of this 2 weeks school. It was really short and intense, and I hope to see everyone around, because on Monday we have the closure ceremony. And by Monday, I kindly ask you to fill all the forms and to go through all the tests that we provide to you. And just enjoy your weekend and absorb or feel all the information that you've got today. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye, guys. Thanks a lot to everyone. Thank you again.